Hi everybody! Well, this is a first for me. I get to spend my time on the DecoArt website or Facebook page today instead of doing Tracy Moreau live on Saturday. So welcome, welcome. I hope that you all had a marvelous Thanksgiving and that you're enjoying today's Black Friday. I'm enjoying it by not going anywhere. I'm going to spend my day in my studio and just play down here instead of being in that madness out there. It's much safer and this is a much more creative space. So today we're going to work on some really fun little shades for the holiday season, and these are really easy to do. They're fun. You don't need to have any particularly elaborate materials to do them. And we're going to get started. I'm going to show you a couple of little things first. So this is what I'm talking about, is these delicate little shades that sit on top of a wine glass, and then you can fill the wine glass with either candy or treats to give away to friends and neighbors, or then you can fill the glass up with little fairy lights or a tea light, and it makes a nice little decoration for your holiday table or for other aspects around the house. You don't need a lot of materials. You don't even need anything really fancy. And just to give you a for instance, I've cut the shade here out of a Cheerios box. So a couple of coats of gesso on both sides and it's ready to go. You can use your standard acrylics, which is what we're going to show you today, is how to do this fun piece using just some stencils and some of these fabulous DecoArt products. And if you're not particularly adept at painting or are not comfortable with painting, I have a really fun one for you. This one is done with gift wrap. So what I've done, I cut out the shade just as you're going to do with the others, and then used DecoArt decoupage to apply the gift wrap to the shade, and then went over it with some of DecoArt's fabulous new Galaxy varnish. It's got a fabulous glitter in it and you'll love it. It's great. So the process is very simple. You're going to take either watercolor paper or the Cheerios box or some heavy cardstock, and you're going to cut out your shade. And that's what I've done with this piece, so we're about ready to get started. Now I'm using just straight ahead, good old-fashioned Americana acrylics for this. You can choose your own color palette, whatever you'd like to do. Now I started with this one. I cut it out of, this is 130 weight watercolor paper. Pretty straightforward. You can find it in almost any craft store. And it's relatively affordable. Comes in an 8.5 by 11 or a 9 by 12 format, so it's ideal for this. I have with me some fun stencils. I chose some snowflakes and some polka dots. We're going to use that. I have some glitter, good old-fashioned DecoArt Glamour Dust. I have some heavy gel medium, and of course my Americana acrylics. And we're going to create a really fun and sparkly winter scene on this, just using a few little products that we have laying around. Now, you've got a couple of options when it comes to doing these. And one of the things that you can do is use something fun like pinking shears or these edging scissors when you're cutting it out to give it a decorative edge. But in this case, I've just left the edge very clean and very simple. So it is just the shade shape. So I'm going to start with a base coat of winter blue. So I have that base coat on there, and I'm going to use this. This is a 1/8 polka dot stencil. And I'm going to use a little bit of warm white or titanium white or whatever white you happen to have on hand. And a good stencil brush. I'm going to load up my stencil brush with a little bit of white paint, and I'm going to blot it a little bit on some paper towels so I don't have too much paint on there. And I'm going to stencil, not perfectly, not even regular. I just want a few dots to show up. They don't even have to be perfect. Ooh, fun. Nothing has to really line up. That's the fun part about this. It doesn't have to be perfection. I just want to get some dots in the background. And they don't have to be even consistent. I rather like when they're not absolutely perfect. I just want the dots on. Kind of mimic some of those snowflakes, and I like it when some of them overlap. Makes things interesting. I'll do a little bit here. So we have tiny little polka dots all over our surface. Then I'm going to take, I have a larger polka dot stencil here. I'm going to just do this one in a few spots. I'm just going to pick a couple here and there. I just like the irregularities that it creates. Just makes the surface a bit more fun. Oops, I whoopsied there. I've got 4 in a row and I don't like that. There we go. So that breaks up the surface a little bit. It's not, we don't want anything perfectly patterned. The idea is to sort of create the illusion that snow is falling. So we're going to change colors for these snowflakes, and I'm going to switch to a darker shade, sort of a turquoisey color. It can be almost anything. Just another value of blue is all we really need, just a slightly darker one. And I'm going to be a little more selective this time. I'm going to put a few snowflakes on in that darker color. And you can be selective about which one you choose. And I like them to look a bit more random. I don't want this to look too structured. So I'm just going to throw a few snowflakes here and there. I just like the way this looks. And oh, let's do this one. Something a little more. And don't be afraid to take the snowflakes off of the edge. It just makes it a little more interesting. And I'm going to pop this one right here. Only I'm going to take that one off the page just a little bit. Just like so. So now we've got some darker snowflakes in there. I'm going to clean out my stencil brush a little bit. I've got a great little tip for you for cleaning stencil brushes. Especially right now, it makes it really easy. I'm going to put a little bit of hand sanitizer in the palm of my hand. Now this is a synthetic stencil brush, so I can do this without worrying about it. And I'm going to clean the paint out of my stencil brush with the hand sanitizer. And then I'll just blot that on my shop towel a little bit, and my stencil brush is ready to use again. Because the alcohol evaporates, the brush doesn't stay wet. So now I'm going to take that same stencil and I'm going to overlap some of those snowflakes. This time I'm using the titanium white. I want a nice bright snowflake this time. And I'm going to tuck them in all over the place. And it's okay, again, if they go off the page. You can choose any snowflake you like on your stencil to do this, or you can use multiple designs. I like the shape of this one. It's my favorite snowflake. Put that there. And I think a couple of smaller ones, just for giggles. Just like that. And then I have a really fun technique we're going to do with this very same stencil. So I'm going to take a second here and just dry this. I love these layers. I think that the more layers you put on, the more fun it is. Okay. There we go. So Decor has this great product called Heavy Gel Medium. And we're going to use that to put a couple of snowflakes on this. And again, I think I'm going to use this one because I really like that one. But I think I'm going to do something here just for a sec, because my shade is curling a little bit and it's making it hard. I'm going to use a little painter's tape and tape it to my tabletop just to hold it in place so it doesn't move, and helps keep it flat for this. So I'm going to take my stencil, I'm going to put it on my surface, and I'm going to tape it in place just to hold it in place. I'm going to take my favorite palette knife, and I've got a little bit of that heavy gel medium on my palette knife. So I'm going to hold that in place, and then I'm going to put a thin layer of that gel over top of the stencil. Don't press, you don't have to. And then carefully lift the stencil away. And then I'm going to move my stencil up here. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And carefully remove my stencil. And then I will do one more over here. And I like that they're overlapping some of the other snowflakes. Instead of trying to fit them in, I'm letting it overlap. And then, I'll carefully remove my stencil. Now I'll set that aside. So now we have slightly raised stencils on here. I know that you can see them in there. They're looking kind of white, but they're actually not white when they're dry. They dry crystal clear. And so while this is still wet, I'm going to lift that tape off carefully, like so. And I'm going to find my glamour dust. My partner in crime does not like glitter, so he hides my glamour dust. So I'm just, while that heavy gel medium is still wet, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the glamour dust glitter onto the surface, right over those snowflakes. Like so. Make sure they're well covered. And then you're going to just give it a tap like that. And what it'll do is it will seat the glitter into that piece. And then you can take your shade and curl it like so. See, all that excess glitter sort of gathers in the middle. And I'm going to use my shade to dump my glitter back into the bottle. Like so. So now we have glittered, shiny, sparkly snowflakes on our shade. And I'll use a cloth to collect the rest of the glitter off my surface. I'll have glitter everywhere. It's Christmas. We're supposed to have glitter everywhere. I just blew a little of the excess over to my partner in crime. So we have these really pretty little snowflakes on that surface. So all you have to do is let this set aside for about 15 to 20 minutes while this gel dries, and it will dry crystal clear. You'll be left with just the sparkly shape, raised shape of a snowflake on your shade. And this is what it will look like. So you get this really pretty effect. So then to put it together, you simply notch that line that's on the back, and these two tab will slip in like so, and your shade is complete. So then you just sit this on top. Now there's nothing to stop you from elaborating a little bit further. Like I said, if you're not a painter, then grab some of DecoArt's decoupage. You can use glitter. You can use these little stick-on gems. Use your decoupage medium to use scrapbook paper or napkins, dinner napkins, or what have you, to create some really pretty little shades to go on your wine glasses. Then fill your wine glass with candy and a tea light and make it a small gift for a neighbor or for a friend. These are a really fun little project and very easy to do. You can get a little bit more elaborate. In this case, I just did some decorative painting on here with a simple holly pattern. Now, the pattern for these is available on my website. You'll find it in the freebies section. It's right at the top of the page. It's called Decor Mini Shades. And the pattern for this holly leaf and the instructions are in that pattern, as well as the template for this project. So don't be shy, don't be afraid to grab some of your scrapbook paper, some of your watercolor paper, or even the Cheerios box, and create some really fun and some really pretty holiday projects. So guys, that's it. That's such a simple little project that you can do and create some very pretty little things to go along with it. It makes great use of dollar store wine glasses and some tiny fairy lights, or even those little electric tea lights. They make a wonderful gift if you fill them up with candy or some of their favorite things. They'll enjoy it immensely. I hope you had fun today. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to check out all of the new product on decawart.com. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. All you have to do is send me a message on Messenger via my Facebook page and watch me every Saturday for Facebook Live. All right, guys. Have a great weekend and happy Thanksgiving to all my friends in the U.S. Stay safe.